Everything exists in the context of what your biggest rival is doing. And right now, I feel like I'm in North Korea on a communications ban, and you're not allowed to say what is actually happening. The conditions and the environment and the style of cricket being played here in Birmingham as we record past midnight might as well be on the bloody moon, Pezza. They are so far apart from what we are witnessing in Australia and indeed the first two tests of the West Indies. That makes us feel good right now, okay? Anyway, so to that end, there is an element of truth, whether it be weighted in kilograms or milligrams, that it is hard to win tests away from home, and any test win away from home is a bloody miracle. Except the feeling in your stomach, Australia, as you wake up on your Saturday morning, is that something's not quite right, and that is most likely correct. Australia are probably ahead of the game, just maybe. They are barely competing with a side that broadly averages 20s with a bat in Test cricket, and that, quite frankly, as an Australian, is not good enough, and that is from a fan base that is not impressed by anything unless you are Steve Waugh wearing speed dealers from a service station that is being paired with 2 Cokes and a Mars bar. The facts are, right now, that Australia, in the third innings, are 2 down for 45 ahead, and we're not happy, and we never are, but something in my stomach, Sam Perry, is it's not quite right.
And yet, like, probably winning this test and the series away from home.
And you can tell the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk.
You can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man.
Here's cheers.
Here's cheers. That's nice. That's nice.
A glass of rouge at 12:15.
Australia has a 33-run lead on first innings. They're 2 for 12. And Nathan Lyon bats 3 for Australia now.
Finally, a new number 3. A settled 3 for Australia.
I agree. And I think we should get into it a little bit later. But I think that analysis is very correct. It is difficult to be 2 for 12 with, Zimmer frame and Young Dumb Full of Cum getting knocked over by Jaden Seals, and you're waking up and Harry Brook and Jamie Smith's made bulk runs off 2 deliveries.
Yeah.
But there actually are explanations for these things. It is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're getting pumped in this game as well, by the way. Yeah. I can't even believe I actually forgot who England was playing against in this game.
Okay, so 12 wickets fell on day 2 in Grenada.
No, Grenada.
Damn it. I was getting mixed up. Apologies to West Indies fans. So I'll go through the wickets and then what's happened in the day's play. So Hazelwood, brilliant caught and bowled off Darryl Braithwaite for 0. They made it 1 for 7. Cummins, unbelievable caught and bowled of Casey Carty for 6. They made it 2 for 40.
Can I just say this? And the way Cummins slid there.
The way he used that slid.
Well, and you can tell by the way he uses his slid. Greg Blewett, in describing it, said he's just an athlete. Mm-hmm. And I think that's an underrated piece of commentary. There's actually a lot in that. Yeah. There's a lot of hope in that for people who never made it.
Yep.
Fair play to Cummins. Lionheart, wonderfully determined man, a man of principle. We know about him, obviously.
Yeah. Woke. Yeah.
Woke.
Jumbo jet.
Yep, and will go down as a great of the game. But also, the way Greg Blewett correctly identifies him as just an athlete, that is what athletes do. So I actually don't ascribe that to any kind of determination or will.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's just hey, if you think that's a good catch, you've got to see these people in the flesh. They should do that. Look at it.
Yeah.
It's Space Jam. So he does it, and the way he slides and starts smiling, you think, what a wonderful player. No, it's just genetics.
Just an athlete.
It's just straight athleticism.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, when his accountant reads his tax return, and then that person will say, you know what, it's okay, he's just an athlete. So it can go the other way.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
a tax return thing.
Yeah.
Now,
What I wouldn't give.
Slug then gets John Campbell. He gets him after he runs down the wicket.
And it was unlucky. He was unlucky, John Campbell.
Was he? He was on 40 or 52, 5 balls and a 6. Tries to hoist him to the leg side. Gets caught by Kratzy. Hey, Kratzy boy. Awful shot in the moment, and by the moment I mean life. 3 for 64.
Are the quicks like? I know Cummins can't do it, and that's one of his issues in life. But Hazelwood and Stark have grown a little 3 o'clock shadow under the Grenada sun, and there are a lot of people remarking, especially with the tan and the sleeves finishing just so, that it is a look. It's something that is being enjoyed.
So previously, when you toured the subcontinent, you had to shave your head and grow a beard. Now, the Caribbean is anything but that. So maybe it's somewhere in between that. Maybe these guys are just standing on business and it's clocking to them, etc. So it was 3 for 110 at lunch. Hoff then traps Ross and Chase on the crease, give a not out. Australia review it, 3 reds, 4 for 111. That was in the second over after lunch. Cummins then cleans up Shy Hope. 5 for 169. Lyon then gets Brandon King nicking down the leg side to Carey. Nice catch. They ask for a review. Bit of a spike. Out. 6 for 169. Lyon then gets Greaves caught behind. Nice catch by Alex Carey. 7 for 174. Lyon gets Alzari Joseph caught at long on after a 51-run stand. That hurts, I feel like, in the moment. 8 for 225. Kratz then cleans up Shamar Joseph, 9 for 237. Travis Head gets a caught and bowl to make it all out 253. That's what's happened in the day. But to the point I want to start with is that West Indies fought for that. So Brandon King makes, batting at 4, makes 75, a maiden test 50 for him in his second test match. It's the highest score of the series. John Campbell makes 40 or 52 up in the batting. The Josephs chipped in with 27 and 29. 4 for 169 goes to 7 for 174. Could have been well short of what they ended up, but they get to 253. They're in the game. They get both openers. So the West Indies, they are playing cricket at a very competitive level when really no one is expecting to do so. And you might lean towards geez, Australia are unders. But if you're in the West Indies dressing room, you're like, we are playing cricket, we're fighting. And we're doing as well as the opposition so far in the game, really.
Yeah. So, well done, West Indies. And Brandon King and 75.
Yeah.
And the Josephs and their partnership. Yeah. Shamar Joseph, a West Indies player.
A West Indies cricketer, yep.
If Australia makes 286 and the Windies, with the evidence, the hard evidence of their batting, makes 254 against our bowling.
Yeah. Which is
do
revered.
we have a problem?
Yeah. So the entire game feels like it's an Australia game, like it's about us, and I will include us as part of the 11. It feels like it's about us. It's not about the West Indies or the Washington Generals to our Harlem Globetrotters, except this side can't dunk. It hasn't been able to for quite a while, so it's quite a torrid affair. But yeah, I want to give fair fucks to the West Indies for playing good cricket.
Of course, do it
on the same decks. They are
two teams playing a game of cricket against each other.
In the first Test match, they finished 10 runs ahead of Australia. This time they're 33 behind.
So improvement, really.
Australia's playing better than what they were before. Yeah,
Australia's just they're finding the wins a little bit harder than they used to. And the Windies sniff something, and they shouldn't sniff it. Again, I don't think. Yeah. I'm surprised Australia's batting again in this game.
Yeah.
And I expect this game still to be over in 3 days. It's going to have to move quickly now. But
yeah.
But the Windies shouldn't sniff something, that, and I think that's the expectation of the Australians as they wake up Australian people, the populace, as they wake up in the morning, turn on your Wide World of Sports and Mark Taylor with the Channel 9 backdrop talking about Konstas, etc.
I presume you're talking about hard-working Australians who've worked a full working week.
Silent Australians.
A full 40-hour working week, and they've woken up on Saturday.
Yeah, and they understand. They know cricket, and they understand decency.
They're very knowledgeable fans.
Yeah. And the problem is that, and we will come to Australia's batting, but there's no obvious answer.
That hurts.
Yeah. Well, you can tell by the way I use my... So should we talk about Australia's response to the West Indies 254, or do you want to say Lino 3 for
there are two teams playing, and I just think it's fair fucks to the West Indies for competing. But so it's the first for Australia, first innings lead at 33. Bo Webster gets John Campbell in a moment where it looked like the West Indies were accelerating in that moment, so he chips in. His first spell was 8 overs, 1 for 11, by the way.
What did he finish? 1 for 17 off 10.
Yeah, so loose in the end. So loose second
again,
spell. Yeah. Lyon has 3 for 75 off 19. Hoff and Cummo get 2. They shoot around like they always do. Australia didn't bowl badly in any moment, I feel like.
And they were hitting lots of pads early. But it was just like, it was nipping around. Balls were shooting through low. So why aren't the West Indies out for 134? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And that's the question I'm asking.
Totally right. So, Kratz gets a wicket there. Like, it's the cartel. It's the things we've always seen. Like, when you look at the West Indies...
It's not quickly enough.
It's not... So they get 253 all out. And so, like, the West Indies have fought their way into a position where, like... They are at the very minimum competing. Australia, I think, are still... Oh, God,
no,
are they?
West Indies are ahead in this game.
Do you know what? Should we just fucking skip ahead to the point that we're all thinking about? The entire thing of this game is like, can the top...
can Australia bat?
Can Australia bat? Okay. Travis Head's done well. Steve Smith's good. Bo Webster's the best player on the team. Carey is the best moment in his career. So the top 3... We're looking at the top 3, really. I mean, like Smith averages 120 against the West Indies. Most of that's against, at the Wacker, against, fuck, why can't I think of his name? I can picture his face. The former captain. Anyway.
Holder.
Thank you. Jason Holder. But Australia find themselves 2 for spit. Konstas drags one on from the fucking grandstand, outside off. Khawaja... I mean, how many times we have to see the same dismissal? Line and green at the crease. Jesus fucking Christ, man! Like it's other teams are allowed to bowl well. It's just over and over and over again. You're looking at that as a fan, and you're like, there is such a lack of safety when I'm watching my team play against the new ball. And these guys are really good bowlers, and the wickets are conducive. And Bumrah is a generational, if not greatest of all time. And Jaden Seals averages 21. And it's just like my expectation and my entire childhood is based on never being satisfied. And that's why Australia wins all the time, because we're never fucking happy. And they have to impress guys like me who never did anything in my life except to do a fucking dumb podcast with my friend.
So you're saying that we've done something?
Very interesting.
That is a huge call. That is a huge call in the circumstances.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm watching it and it's just like, this is so... I'm never felt less safe. I'm sleeping without a doona, There are no pillows on my bed. Mum's not home. Dad's not there. Like, it's just... None of it's safe. I don't feel good at all. And I used to feel good with Matthew Hayden and his little mate. They used to go out to bat for me with a fucking Southern Cross on their chest. They used to bat not with a grey Nichols, they used to bat with a fucking Australian flag and a boxing kangaroo.
Mate, how good is that? Southern Cross tat, walk out. They're battered with it, like the plastic ones that you got $2 only, but you got from the King Kong sales.
They used to get it from the Australian
George Street. Yeah, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Celtic, Liverpool, Barcelona. You get a boxing kangaroo, and then that's what Haydos. That's what Dawson Langer went out to bat.
That's what he used to give us. Yeah.
Southern Cross had to on the chest.
Yeah,
flag draped around the neck.
Yeah.
Justin
Langer used to mark centre, then he used to cross himself under the eyes of God.
Put the boxing kangaroo down, take their penis out, and just whack it off their penis. That's what they used to do. And then these guys, these chances.
Absolute fucking jobs worth.
I gotta say, so Australia's 2 for 12. Konstas, well, I mean, to be fair to him, not so much the chop king, the chop on king.
Nice.
Yeah, you like that?
Tama's the chop king.
You liked it. Yeah,
Hey,
of course. How are you, Tama? So I feel like, firstly, chicken tonight, but also the focus will be on Konstas. And I don't think that's the right focus for the opening batters. And I feel like...
Tui's new.
Tui's. But also... I thought Konstas looked good in the first innings, and I thought that he was... Like that ball needed to be sent to the boundary that he was dismissed on tonight, and he's got mental frailties. I feel like his shapes are good when he bats. Usman is the watch, to use the AFL parlance.
Nice.
Jaden Seals gets him again, and it's great commentary where whoever the commentator was just points out that it's eerily similar. It's a good ball, but openers receive good balls, and you're allowed to also play them well. He does play a lot of them well, Usman, but he's missing some of them now, and he's 38, and it's frustrating to watch when you're like, well, this happens to people at this age, and I mean, the best thing going for him is that his opening partner is like young, dumb, full of cum, and he's an uncle looking after him.
Yeah,
but.
I'm looking at Instagram shirts off, and it's just like
like Konstas can fix how you hit a half tracker for 4 mentally, but can a 38-year-old fix if the ball's slanting in and you're that age? Do you how regularly can you lay a bat on that ball?
I wonder if Usman's lost his off stump a bit. Because I mean, as an opener,
but you lose all of it.
I know. The faculties are diminishing. From a technical perspective, as an opening batter, probably the thing you have to be most precise about is where your front pad and where off stump is, and the angle of around the wicket is just complete kryptonite, and he is the 16th guy that's ever scored 6,000 runs for Australia, and we are so unimpressed that we'll be like, what could it have been? Well, and when I look at it now, it's I don't know. The selectors, rightfully, I think, will always think at any guy's best, is that better than the next guy's best, and you would still think that Usman's best is better than anyone else's, but you can't fight against fucking Father Time, where it's
it actually doesn't even feel like you're sledging him.
You're looking at it and you're like, I don't think the alignment of where the ball is coming in his off stump is, and where he is on the crease. And I spoke about yesterday where it just feels like every Australian batter now bats within this emotional box of narrowness within their shoulders. There is no fluidity to anything. There are now so many ways to get our guys out that you're looking at it and you're like, this can't be the best for Australia anymore, and that fucking hurts, because look at 15 other guys in the history of the thing have done what he's done, but it just looks like it's just easier to get out now.
But at the end of the day, this is we're talking about the Ashes, right? Australia doesn't obsess over it the way that people here do. It's incredible how little vibe there is for this series, even though it's just 2 really good teams and there's lots of good stories and stuff. But the thing to point out is that the selectors have a decision, and that decision will be based, at least in part, on England's attack, and England's bowling attack looking today is fragile. It's quick bowlers that aren't playing Wood and Archer. They're I wouldn't say they're held together by sticky tape, but they're fragile. England's steady bowlers are exactly that. So I think Bailey and and Bailey obviously head on Pike, but they will be thinking, can Usman make it through that attack?
Yeah,
and maybe they can, because there is a massive contrast going on with how England's playing against cricket and the cricket that you play in Australia right now. So right now we're watching Australia just being, I wouldn't say stitched up, but they're facing decent full bowling 140 Ks on untested pitches and guys are old and out of form and they're just going from shit tip to shit tip. And England is like playing on roads akin to like Australia 2001 styles.
Yeah.
And the disparity is not even worth comparing. So to that end, it's like maybe Khawaja and Konstas still are the guys.
So if I'm anybody bowling at Usman, let's just say right now, like I'm looking like around the wicket on green seamers in Australia, wobble seam, it just looks so hard. Like I actually don't know if anyone can navigate what that actually looks like because Usman said, he's just getting boomered, and I think that is true. But now it's like, now I'm getting Jason Sealed. Now I'm getting Azari Joseph.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting...
I was Rabarded and I was Jansen.
Yeah,
and I was,
and international cricket's
guys can
fucking
bowl.
hard. Yeah, guys can bowl, right? And so you always... Australian fans should always strive for the absolute best. And is Usman's best better than anyone else? My opinion is yes. But can he find a way back into getting to that best? Maybe he can. But
how do you go into an Ashes in like 4 months' time? He's going to be 4 months older. Like, how do you say that there's going to be a resurgence?
So, I don't know the answer to that, but I do think like what's actually going to happen is like even if he fails in the next test, then he fails twice. To leave him out of that first test match in the Ashes would be an enormous call. I mean, but also it's going to be a bat off. It is going to be a bat off in the Sheffield Shield this year. So I think most likely
he absolutely should go to Shield and score runs. Like all the players should really.
Yeah.
There's only like one or two that you go like, okay, you're locks or whatever. You don't need to do it. But like he needs runs.
Like Australia's number 3 Nathan Lyon.
Batters needs runs. I mean, we like they shouldn't be sacred cows. Mm-hmm. And it should be the same for Konstas. I mean, if you don't have the runs on the board, you got to go make them.
Revolutionary thought.
Yeah, huge. Once again, a huge call from
Okay, I'm just going to read out a couple of RCDCs, if that's appropriate. I'm a TV, get me out of here. That's not bad. That's up there for me on Patreon. Well done. And join our Patreon if you want the live chat and just to vent. If you want to vent during this entire process, join our Patreon, patreon.com/Grey Cricketer. I'm a TV, get me out of here. So maybe the real seal that we need to fear is the one named Jaden. Okay.
Shout out. Call back to Charlie there.
Yeah, 22 PKs saying Sammy K, less Insta, more nets. Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
see,
well,
that's where it hurts, you know? That's where it hurts.
Mate,
if you don't win a game,
you don't win a game, and then we go back to like the fundamentals of Australian cricket, hard-nosed coterie and heaps of training to the point of like torture.
Yep. Hides at third man said, well, I for one welcome our new West Indian overlords. That's a pretty good point. Alpines Racing said, can't wait for Warner to face the first ball in Perth.
Yep. There'll be a Warner story. There will.
Joel Wilson's said, I'm an opening batter, get me out of here. That's a good point. Umpire's call said maybe Kratz should open with Usman. Brotherly connection considering he jumps more than his brother Brandon. Yeah.
Okay.
That's some feedback in the old technique there.
Chat's really popping off.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we just not play in the summer? Okay, so there's obviously fear.
Yeah, there shouldn't be fear.
And that's being fed because things aren't working out exactly as we wanted to. And, you know, that is the
So Australia's winning this test and England is not winning their test, but there's fear.
That is the exact cultural difference I want to highlight because Australians are eternally so unimpressed with what we see. My experience is... as an observation, is that England very, very impressed with anything. And that's just a cultural difference. It's not right or wrong. It's just an observation, you know? Maybe the Aussies I think we go too far with it. We're never impressed with anything. Cummins woke, you know?
And what do you think about England and how, do they go too far with being impressed?
That's not for me to say.
It's not for you to say.
It's not for me to say. You know, I'm a guest here.
Exactly.
I'm a guest here on a working, I'm on a working visa.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'll pick fruit if I have to. Courtesy of Ponting Wine says, Oz lack of top order safety is causing detrimental damage to the enjoyment of my morning wank. So
My morning wank. like to sort of market it and label it.
Yeah. So
Not
it's
something I've thought of.
it was Friday night when the game started. Now it's Saturday morning. I've woken up and I'm thinking,
It's time for my morning wank.
what's this? What? I'll check the scores first. Check the scores. I'm still going to do it. It's just hindered the
ruined it a
experience.
little.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
That's nice.
Okay, well, there you go. There is another early morning wrap up here from Birmingham of the second day of the second Test match of the West Indies in Australia. We'll be back at Edgbaston tomorrow for day 4. It's a great day if you're. It's a great time if you're a Test cricket fan, generally speaking, because the Bangladesh Sri Lanka series has finished, and that was a great series. It was a great series. Trent, any thoughts? No. No
Oh,
thoughts.
well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man.
No time to talk.
No time to talk.
See you tomorrow.